Iman Gadzhi just released his new editing style, and if you master this quick, then you can make thousands of dollars. So today I will show you exactly how to create this style. I will show you a Volt knob animation, and I will also show you how to create these amazing title animations. Now let's jump into it. I'm here in After Effects and I'm going to create a new composition. 4K, 25 frames per second, duration is fine. Let's hit OK. And now I'm going to import this film grain texture. And by the way, you can download this for free in the description. And if you want to download the project file of this video, do join the Fullstack Editor Club. You will also get access to tons of Iman Gadzhi deep dives, but also potential clients, including Iman Gadzhi himself. And you will get access to an amazing community of editors that are all there to help you out. Again, link is in the description. I'm just gonna drag this in just like that. Press S for scale to scale it up. And I also want a black solid behind this. So hit Command Y or Control Y on Windows, hit OK, and let's drag this below it. And why I do this, I just want to dial down this grain a tiny bit. So press T for transparency, set it to maybe 80, just to make it a bit less noticeable. Then let's go to the ellipse tool, because I want to basically create the knob. And I'm gonna set the fill to almost black, like maybe something like this. Press OK. And then the stroke I'm gonna set to a bit of like a lighter gray, just like this. Press OK. Maybe 4 pixels, and then just click and hold your mouse down, hold shift, and just make a nice circle. Now to move it, we can go to the selection tool and then just make sure that nothing is selected, and then move it around. Hold Command or Control to snap it into place to center it. Now we have this nice shape. I want to add a bit of texture to it though, and this is a nice trick to use anyway. If you want to add a bit of texture to it, or you want to just make something a bit more luxurious, it's good to fade it out a bit. I'll show you exactly what I mean. If we now go to the ellipse tool and we select the shape and make sure that the tool creates mask is turned on, and then just drag a simple shape just like this, then I'm going to change the mask to subtract and then open this mask and add a lot of feather to it. Probably something like this. If you now click on the background, you will see this looks so much more luxurious and it looks really nice. I can even adjust the mask a bit by going to the selection tool and then just double clicking on this mask, moving it around a bit, maybe even making it a bit more big, just like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this shape because I just want to do the same thing. So let's hit Command D or Control D on Windows, press S for scale and scale it down a bit. And basically I want it around here. And now let me show you another trick. I'm going to duplicate it again and let's open this and basically just increase the stroke by a lot. Probably something like this. Go into the stroke and add some dashes to it. That will basically add almost this knob effect. Although I don't like what it looks like now, I want to make sure these dashes are just a bit more big, something like this. Let's decrease the stroke maybe a bit and then press S for scale. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to scale it up a tiny bit just so it's outside of the line. Hold Command or Control to align this really nicely. There we go. Now what you might notice is that it's not properly aligned. You may need to scale it down even a tiny bit more, just like this. And I also want to go into the shape and into the contents and into the ellipse and into the stroke where we were. Open the dashes and then change the offset. By doing so, then we can align it so we don't have that double thing anymore. Or what you can also do is change the dash just a tiny bit to align it nicely. There we go. Now let's duplicate this one more. Make sure this is on top of everything. Press S for scale and scale it down. And this will be our last knob. Let's make this around here. This already looks really clean in my opinion. Now let's add the marker. I'm gonna go to the pen tool and keep the same settings, and then I'm gonna enable my grid, and I do this by clicking on this button and hitting the grid. And if your grid doesn't look like this, you might need to change the settings, and you do this by going to your settings and then grids and guides. I've set mine to be on grid line every 320 pixels and for subdivision. And why this is important is then we can make a nice arrow that is looking great. So I'm just gonna click here and then draw a arrow just freely, just like this. There we go. Now it looks really ugly. The stroke is really big. We need to change this to probably like 2 pixels. We probably also have to make this a bit darker just so it stands out a bit less. Let's see what this looks like. Looks great. However, it needs to be below our knob circle thingy. So let's move it below that, and there we go. Maybe I'm gonna select it and make it even more dark so it's less visible. Let's disable the grid quick, just like that. Looks really cool in my opinion. Now let's add the number and the pi piece to it. So I'm just gonna grab one of these circles. Let's just get this one. I'm gonna duplicate this, move it up, and let's make sure there's no stroke to this. So let's set the stroke to none, and let's make the fill like a bluish color or something, just like this. I kind of like the mask feather effect that we're having, but you can also remove it. That actually has to be below the knob. So let's move this down a bit. You can also hold Control Alt or Command Alt to move it down below, just like this. And then what I'm gonna do, and this is another secret hack, let's add a radial wipe to this, and let's just drag that to it or double click on the effect. Now nothing happened, but we need to change the transition completion. As you can see, we can just drag this, and now we need some math. I'm just gonna be teacher thumbnail. Basically, I want to split it in 7 parts. This radial wipe asks for a percentage. So basically, I have this sum 100 minus and then 100 divided by 7. And you can just replace this with any part or amount that you want. So for example, if I want to have 6 parts, then we need to change it to this. Or if I want to change it to 5 parts, then it needs to be 80. In this case, I wanted 7 parts. And then we can just copy this. And then I can just paste this in the transition completion, hit enter. And then for the start angle, I can just manually move this a bit. However, there's also a sum for this, 360 degrees divided by 7. And you can also type this in this number window. So for example, 360 divided by 7 and then hit enter. And then we get 51.4. And as you can see, it's perfectly shaped just like we want. And I actually like that it's shining through a bit. This is because this knob is masked. I think that's actually quite dope. We can also add a feather to this. I don't like it. I think it's fine without the feather. However, there are some extra effects. We can right click on this, hit layer styles and then bevel and emboss. Then we can go into the bevel and emboss and use the soften effect and the size effect to make it look a bit nicer. Just like that. I also want to decrease the shadow color or shadow opacity. Not the biggest fan of that. And then we can also add a glow to this, a deep glow or even a normal glow is fine. We can go to the effects and presets and just search for glow and then double click on that. Now we can increase the radius and set the intensity really low, probably like 0.01. And this will make it pop a bit more out of the screen. If I'm going to use a deep glow, it will be the same thing. It looks a bit cooler, but then I would set it also really low, maybe 0.1. So we get something like this. Now let's add the number, go to the text tool and then just type your number here. In this case, number 1. I'm going to use the font Tahoma bold for that. And we just have to rotate it a bit. Press R for rotation and then rotate it. Something like this. And then we can also stylize it a bit by making it a different color. So changing the fill. What I like to do is always just to pick the background color and then go to brightness and basically dialing it down to match it. And this will make sure you have the same exact color, but just a bit darker. Hit OK. And then let's right click layer styles and let's add a drop shadow to this. Open this drop shadow, set the blend mode to normal and then the color to white. Press OK. And let's change the angle of this. So we can just change the angle to something like this. Make it a bit more soft and then dialing down the opacity by a lot just to add a bit of texture to it. So it looks like this. And I think that looks really, really nice. Now let's get animating. And for the start animation, it's nothing too crazy. I just want to scale up a few layers. So I'm going to link the shape layer 3 to shape layer 2. Press S for scale and set a keyframe. Let's drag this out, zoom in a bit to maybe 1 second and then scale this in. Then I'm going to link the arrow to the smaller knob, which is shape layer 4. And I'm going to do the same thing. Press S for scale, set a keyframe. But this one I'm going to scale down even more because I like that when it's small and really sizes in. And then we can select these keyframes, hit F9 on our keyboard, go into the graph editor, select the last keyframes and then dragging those to the left. And this will make it nice and smooth. If we now quickly play this back, we already have this nice cool animation. Now in the example of Iman Gadzhi, he just fades in the number, which you can do by just selecting the number and of course the part that we created, which is this one, and then just pressing T for transparency, setting a keyframe. But I actually like it when there's also a bit of movement to this. So I am going to use the opacity too. Gonna just set it to 100% and dragging that out. And I'm going to do the same thing for the number 1 because you're my number 1. And let's drag this out and let's set this to 0 and then 0. So it fades in. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to link this number 1 to this pie part, whatever we call it. Press S for scale, set a keyframe. And I'm going to do the same thing, also scaling this in a bit. I think that will add a bit of a cool effect to it. As you can see, it will fade with it. Now again, we want to of course easy ease this too by hitting F9 on our keyboard, going to the graph editor, selecting the last keyframe and dragging that to the left. I want to maybe move this out a bit so we just have something like this. It's really nice. And then lastly, I want to rotate the circle in the center. And to do that, we can just select it, press R for rotation and rotate it around. And because the arrow is already linked to it, it's really nice. We can just move it. So we can move it to number 1. I'm gonna probably first make sure that it's centered, something like this. Set a keyframe, dragging that to the front and then moving it. So it's selecting number 1. Very nice. Let's hit F9 on our keyboard and again, graph editor, selecting the last keyframe and easy ease it. Very good and very nice. And lastly, what I want to do is add a glow to this. So we're going to duplicate it. I'm going to grab this one and move this a bit to the right so it comes in later. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S for scale, going to that second keyframe and making it bigger. So this will be like almost like a beam angle, something like this. And then of course we want to feather this. Now to mask it, I'm just going to create a new ellipse by just going to the ellipse tool, make sure that nothing is selected and just make a nice ellipse just like this. Hold shift. We can also make sure sure that this is centered somewhat, just like that. Let's add a quick Gaussian blur to this by going to effects and presets, Gaussian blur. There we go. Turn the repeat edge pixels off and turn this on like quite high, something like this. And then we're going to go to the beam thingy that we just created and use the alpha matte tool or the track matte tool. We can just use this pick whip and drag that to the ellipse that we just created. And look how cool this looks. Really, really nice. And what's also nice is that it will fade in a bit just like that, which I think is a really dope effect. I'm actually also going to link the track matte that we just created to the shape layer, so it will scale with it and that will make it look even nicer. As you can see, nice organic glow. Now let's add a cool camera movement to it. And to do so, I'm just going to select all of this and just holding shift and then command shift C and then calling this volt lock. Hit OK. And so this is all in one layer. And now I'm going to go to layer, new, null object. I'm going to link this composition to that null object. And I'm going to open this null object, open the transform, set a keyframe for the position, scale and rotation. And let's move this to the start and let's rotate it first of all. So the one is at the top, then let's move it a bit and maybe also a tiny scale on it, maybe something like this. And again, we can turn our grid on just to check if we're doing things right. I think we are. There we go. Let's turn that grid back off. Don't want to see those grid lines. Nice. Now, of course, select these keyframes, hit easy ease, and then you can go to the text tool and type your text here. Let's go to the font and now just select a written font, scroll down, make sure it's not all caps and make sure that this is white. So something like this. We can move this to the center. And to animate the text, I'm just going to use the paint on effect. Just double click. We'll add this ugly mask. We can just delete that. So just select the mask and just hit delete. And then we need to create our own mask. And to do that, we just go to the rectangle tool and make sure it's somewhat the same size as the text. And basically what this will do, it will add this write on or basically paint on effect. It's quite ugly, so we need to change it a bit. For example, the angle, we can change it so it's aligned with the text. That will make it look a bit more realistic. We can also, of course, go and press U to see the keyframes and select these and hit F9. So they're a bit more organic and we can move this so it happens a bit more quick. Now, if we link this text to the null and we move this now so it starts a bit earlier, basically what we'll have is that once it moves in, the text also animates in. Now, I'm not happy with the animation yet. Let's drag these keyframes out a bit, go into the graph editor and easy ease it tiny bit more. And same with the first keyframes. Let's also move those a bit. And I might also change the font, but there you go. First animation done. Let's go to the second animation and that's a cool title animation. And for this, I'm just going to create a new comp, hit OK. And once we have our black solid, I'm going to add a cool gradient to this. And this is a cool trick. Basically, if we create a ellipse by just going to the ellipse tool, and then we can, for example, make this a bit like a pale or like a orangey color. I can make two blobs. So something like this, hold space to move them around. Add another one here. Very pretty, very beautiful. Then I can duplicate these and change the fill to another color, for example, like a light bluish, something like this. Press OK. Then go to the selection tool and scale these up and move them around a bit, something like this. The same with this one. There we go. And then move this below it. It will look very ugly, but let me cook. If we now go to layer, new adjustment layer, we can add a Gaussian blur to this. Or what we can also do is we can just add a Gaussian blur to the shape layers itself. We're going into effects and presets and then just adding a Gaussian blur. You can also use a fast box blur. It doesn't really matter that much. Just turn this repeat edge pixels off and turn this on like really high. We're talking about 700, and then do the same thing with the other shape layer and you will get this really cool gradient already. Now you can of course adjust the shape layers a bit. I will actually do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so they're intersecting a tiny bit more, maybe something like this. You can even rotate them a bit, and let's do the same thing with those other layers and increase the Gaussian blur a bit so it blends even nicer. Double click on this shape and we're just sculpting our background a bit. And what's so cool about this is that you're creating something from scratch. In that sense, it's really a unique background because no one has it the same like you. And you get this really cool gradients that you also see this in some SaaS explainers. Now, of course, we still need a grid. And to do that, we can just literally go into our black solid and add a grid to this. Double click on that and then make sure that the blending mode is set to normal and the size is set to width slider. And let's make it something like 80 and then also change the opacity so it's blending a bit better, something like this. And if you want to blend it even nicer, we can duplicate this black solid, removing our grid and then just adding a simple shape to this. So going to the pen tool and then just masking it a bit around the edge here, probably something like this, hitting F for feather and feathering it by a lot and then setting it to subtract. And then we can move this a bit, basically making the grid less visible around the edge. Now that we have our background, let's add some text to it. Let's go to the text tool. Then we can type here, as long as you win the war. And then just one of those like tall fonts. That can be Anton, Baybas. If we turn this to all caps and move this to the center, we have something quite similar. Now, what is always nice to do is to match your colors of the text. Now, don't go to the fill, color pick it, and just call it a day, just like this. What you can do is just have it still white, but have a bit of a tint to it, so it's matching the scene a bit better. Not too much, but maybe something like this. Now, let's import this reef, which you can download in the description, and I can just drag this in. Now, I want this to be white, so let's add a invert to this. Effects and presets, and invert. Double click on that, and this will look really ugly. Let's move this below the text first. Press T for transparency, and maybe setting this to 95%, so it's a bit less white. And then, just like I showed you before, if we add a ellipse to this and just make a mask that looks maybe something like this, and press F for feather and feather it by a lot, it will make it look so much more luxurious. Maybe move the mask a bit, something like this. And then let's add the text, you don't need to win every single battle. So you don't need to win every single battle. Then again, a nice written font. I have victory here, speak about winning battles. Let's make it a bit smaller, and then let's just center this. I want to make this white. We can also add like a deep glow to this. And then lastly, a line that goes through it, and I want that to be a bit squiggly. Let's first turn the fill to none and the stroke to maybe like reddish tone, something like this. And then let's just make a ugly line. This doesn't have to be perfect. We actually want it to be a bit like squiggly, just like that. Turn the stroke up so we can see it, maybe like 10 pixels or something. Great. Now let's animate this thing. I'm gonna go to layer, new, null object. I'm gonna link everything to that except our background. So just these elements, let's link them to the null. Let's press P for position, set a keyframe, and let's move this down to somewhere around here. And let's go a bit further, and then let's move it up. Again, easy ease, select the keyframes, hit F9 on your keyboard. And let's start with this text animation first. This is not crazy. We can or use that ride-on effect that we did before, or we can just go to effects and presets and add a fade up characters effect to this. Just double click on that. And when this happens quick, press U to see your keyframes, move them closer together, and you'll see that it will look quite realistic. Then of course we can open this shape, go into the content, go into the shape, and add a trim paths to this. Open this trim paths, set a keyframe for the end, and dragging this to the right, setting this to 0. And let's move this a bit later, just like this. Set a keyframe. So we then have something like this, and then only the last thing is that we have to fade in this text. We can or fade in the whole text and that, I don't know what they call reef, I think. Or we can add a slow fade on to this. That's going to be a bit more elegant. If we press U on our keyboard, we can move these keyframes to be a bit closer together. And let's move this so this happens right when it pops up. And that's fade in that reef. Pressing T for transparency and fading it in. Very nice. I also want to fade in the background, and to do so, let's just select those blobs that we made. Press T for transparency and setting a keyframe for that. Dragging this out and just having them fade in. And that will look already really cool. Now to finish it off, Iman also uses posterized time. So let's go to layer, new, adjustment layer, and add a posterized time effect to this. And then we can set this to 15, and that will make it look a bit more laggy, a bit more stuttery, and will make it look a bit more organic. And then you get something like this. If you want to see more deep dives on Iman Gadzhi, do join the Fullstack Editor Club. Link is in the description. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment of what you want to see next. Then of course, don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 100K. I'm so thankful for all the support. And then I'll see you next time. Bye bye.